We are back 3 minutes late, but we are here. So this is our new normal, guys. I'm going to be going live in this group, Quantum Revolution community, every Monday at lunchtime. So hopefully if you are on the time zone around this period of time, you can have lunch with me. And I'm going to give you guys a little mindset reminder. Probably nothing that you're not familiar with if you've been on this journey for a while, but sometimes it's just the day you need to hear it, or it's when the penny finally drops, or when you finally ready to receive the message. I mean, I think that's where we're at. And I am right now teaching in several different master classes. I'm doing a non-duality masterclass this year, which is going to be a little bit of the focus of what I'm going to give you guys today. And in that masterclass, non-duality, what we are practicing is the art of making every single thing that happens to us kind of part of your experience, instead of every time something doesn't go your way, every time something stops you, you feel like, you feel, I'm just making sure we're live on Facebook right now. You feel like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I stuck? So anywhere you are feeling stuck, blocked, trapped, idle, lost, alone, fill in the blank, anything that makes you feel like you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you can see the motherland, or you can see where it is that you want to be, but you can't quite get there. This is something that I've been working on personally, because I think anytime you really grow your spirit, you really grow the integration between body, mind, soul, you're going to hit pitfalls. I mean, this is a major, major virtual reality simulation, but it's all set up like a treasure hunt. And the treasure hunt is really about you merging into you. We think it's some like place or person or thing that we're here to obtain. And ultimately, we are, let me make sure that that is not there, that we are, let's see if you guys can hear me. Okay. Make sure I'm live. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you give me can you give me some sort of something there? If you can hear me. Okay. And I'm wasting your time here, but I want to make sure we get it right because I'm going live from Zoom. Hey guys. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Perfect. All right. I want to make sure I can see your comments here. Get back into my groove of doing lives. I used to do Facebook lives all the time, if you guys remember back in the day before COVID. But this time is going to be different. I want to create some consistency for you guys and some disciplined habits. In the non-duality class, we really look at the word discipline very, very differently. It's a trigger word to your inner child. But when we are growing, and we're going in a directional way or an intentional way, discipline only means disciple. Okay, so you're going to be focused or discipled off of the bigger, stronger, more empowered, godly you, the version of you that has to give you the pep talks, the you that is in the imagination doing the work and dreaming and desiring and beckoning you forth. Okay, so in this non-duality masterclass that we are looking at every area of our life and unpacking it as if it was neutral, instead of this horrible divorce or this big money issue or this big problem with your body. If we looked at it completely neutral, which is why you guys are so great at helping other people, is because when you look at someone else's problem, it's neutral to you. So, some of you go, oh, I couldn't teach. I feel like a fraud because my life is junk. No, get out there and teach. And here's why. Because when someone's problem is neutral to you, you actually have a better way to figure it out than they do. This is why we are creating support systems. This is why community is so important right now. Your problem might feel like Everest, okay? But ultimately, your problem to me is like, do X, Y, Z, right? But just to you, it's like there's no doors open. There's nothing happening for you. You can't find the solution. Remember, you can't be in the problem and be in the solution. So this is why we've created this this fellowship group that we're doing. I'll give you the details at the end if you haven't already joined us. We have almost close to 30 people in there already. And what it is, it's almost like more eyes on this situation, looking at it all through a neutral place. It almost acts kind of like a domino effect to fix the person who's asking's problem and then like 5 other people's problems at the same time. Because really, ultimately, this whole game, although it seems like black and white and evil and you know, and God and the devil, and really it's just based in duality. But if you looked at it, if you looked at the entire game from the point of non-duality, and you backed up from it and you were like, okay, what am I doing here, right? Then it really comes back to focus. What are you focused on? Okay, so what I want to do is give you guys a mindset hack every single Monday, so that as you start, you know, to move on to your journey, not only are you focused in the direction that is your North Star, that is your true GPS, which is, you know, going in the right direction, not going to the settled direction, or going into your boyfriend's direction, or going into what you've always been comfortable in, but going into what looks like maybe a dark forest, but keeping it like, hey, this is a total shortcut here. And I know if you've been doing the work and you've been affirming and you've been really working on yourself, you've probably hit the dark forest more than you'd like to admit at this point. I know we all have, because like I said, growing is basically a becoming, and it's turning your volume up, and it's standing, and it's taking responsibility, and it's hard. It feels very grown up. It feels very not fun at times. There's not a lot of dopamine in growth. There's dopamine in comfort. There's dopamine in instant gratification. There's dopamine in addiction. There's dopamine in suffering. There's dopamine in blaming. There's dopamine in complaining. There isn't dopamine when you do the right thing, even though no one's looking. So it is really nice to have confirmation of neutrality around other people when your problem seems like Everest. So thank you guys for joining. Hi, Arwen. Kishna, Christine, how are you guys? It's good to see you. I'm glad I'm able to see some of you guys on Facebook here. I know not everybody can join me at lunch, but this will be archived, and it will be, you guys can watch it even if your lunchtime is not at 12. This is just where my little break is. Today, I wanted to give you guys a biohack for mindsets that I think is really gonna, on some days, maybe literally save your life. And I have literally been decoding and biohacking our whole body, mind, soul journey for the past 3 years. And I've been teaching for 12 professionally, but the last 3 years, I really included the physical body, and I included the subconscious mind in that understanding of who we are as a packaged being. It's kind of like when you're a single mom and you're dating, you're like, package deal, right? Your enlightenment is a package deal. You cannot go without your body, and you cannot get anywhere with, you know, your big ass soul that is filled with old core wounds and programs and dramas. Every single part of your subconscious mind basically creates the stage. It creates the casting characters. It creates the things that are looking like they're coming at you. They're actually coming through you based on core programs. Core programs like, I'm never chosen, or I'm second best, or I'm never good enough, or I get things and then lose things, or, you know, I feel devalued in my relationships. So I'm going to have you guys look at a couple things every week. It's going to be uncomfortable, but if you actually just get comfortable being uncomfortable, this journey will speed up tremendously. All right. First thing is, if you're not sure of where your core programs are, and you're not sure of like what your core beliefs are, look at your biggest issue in your closest relationship. If you're single, look for your bestie, or the mom you talk to 5 times a day, or whoever is closest to you. Intimacy. What is the core or the biggest issue that you have with that person, or you feel about that person feeling you? Like, they don't see me, or they're not emotionally available, or, you know, I talk and talk and they don't hear me, or they criticize me. So the biggest issues that you find in relationships are going to be in non-duality, flipped around, and going to be the core issue that your subconscious mind believes about you. I am not chosen. I'm not worth being seen, right? I must be just here to be devalued. So then what happens from that core level, it projects out into the feedback system where then people devalue you. Okay. And so what I notice a lot with my clients is I say, what's your biggest issue? Oh, people not keeping their word. Oh, okay. Did you go to the gym today? No. Did you say you were? Yep. Do you keep your own word? So a lot of times the triggers are in your hypocritical perspective, like things that you want other people to do for you that you're not doing for you. Okay, this was a big slap in my face when I realized I was doing this in some areas, and it doesn't feel good. Like I said, there's no dopamine here. But looking at that from, okay, people don't keep their word or their words don't match their actions. Can you find that you have done that to yourself, not to others? You might keep your word and be super accountable to people outside of you. But when it comes to you, you don't keep your own word, you will manifest someone doing that back to you. It's just physics. It's just a mirror. This is a mirror. Okay. Hi guys. How's everyone? Hey Janelle. Good to see you. Okay. So looking at your core issue in relationships, how people are treating you is what your fundamental core belief believes that is true about you, even if you don't believe it consciously, because you've developed masks and filters and all kinds of buffers to keep you away from what your core beliefs are. And you don't know where they are until they're projected, and you will not like them. And you have core, really beautiful beliefs too. But see, the thing is, this negative energy contains density and it weighs you down and it pulls you down. It makes you feel separate. The beautiful programs that you have running, that's never going to hold you back. That's going to be a springboard. So we don't need to focus on, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. We're looking at this stuff that makes you feel broken and lost and stuck and hurt and betrayed. Okay. And bewildered and blindsided. Lots of B's in there. Okay. So hopefully if you guys have been on your journey and you've stumbled across me again on YouTube, you've been watching the last couple of months, especially the last month of the videos that I've been putting out. And I put out a really cheat code video on Sunday called 40 Days and 40 Nights. And it really is about what you are manifesting when you really decide to go for it. There's a reason why we have what's called finish line failure, or right when we start to get what we want, the bottom drops out, or, 10 steps forward, 10 steps back. The reason why is because that's part of the simulation here, is that it is part of one of the 5 Ds. So in order for you to get to 5D, you have to master the 5 Ds. Okay. So secondary, before I give you guys the 5 Ds here, which I gave you in the video, but I want to break them down and give you the opposition, because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, those are always in my way. I want to give you on your Monday mindset today, I want to give you the opposition frequency or the opposition viewpoint, so that you may see one of these Ds come up and then you're like, I raise this D, right, with this. And then you fill in the blank with this, and then you start focus and inspired acting out on the opposition of what was designed to hold you back. So second, I want you to look at the biggest issue you have with money. Okay. Now, this is important, because if you look at the biggest issue in each area of your life, biggest issue with time, biggest issue with relationship, biggest issue with money, biggest issue that you struggle with your health or mindset when it comes to how your body looks, you will find those 4 core wounds, the 4 core belief systems about your worth, the 4 major dragons that you will have to slay in order to get to Oz, right? Because in the Wizard of Oz, and I live in Kansas, it's all about Dorothy going to sleep and meeting friends who are all her. They're aspects of her, right? And it's the cowardly lion and so, and it's this yellow brick road, right? And who does she meet on this yellow brick road? Not all wonderful people and places and things. There's a lot of contrast. And so you are having your own Wizard of Oz, and you think that Oz is that house or that job or that boyfriend respecting you or whatever, but your Oz is literally going to be like, psych, right? This journey was about you coming into and facing your fears and being courageous and standing up for yourself and realizing that home is where you are, and blah, blah, blah. That's a great movie. And if you want to have, metaphor moments here, Metaphor Mondays, right? So looking at your 4 core issues that you've got, one in money, one in relationship, you'll notice that love and money are very similar to how you feel. So if like money was a person, do you feel disrespected by it? Do you feel devalued by it? Do you feel like it doesn't see you? Do you feel like it's not consistent? Is it ghosting you? Is it trying to show up, but it's ghosting you? Okay. And then look at and see how your last argument went in your last relationship. And then look at what you are doing with time versus what time is doing to you. Look at what you are doing to your body versus what your body is doing to you. And I will show you that your issues are in the 5 Ds. Okay. So what are the 5 Ds? Let's see if there's any questions so far. So far, there's not. If you guys do throw out a question and I do see it, I will integrate it in. I'm going to give these Mindset Mondays about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much time I have. Don't feel obligated to stay the whole time. If you want to come back to it, you can. You know me, I can't shut up. So the first D is doubt, right? Hello, you start to get positive, you start to do well. Oh, like all of a sudden the voice of doubt comes in. And see, a lot of times the voice of doubt is not, it doesn't feel perpetrating. It doesn't feel mean. It feels protective. Like, are you sure you should spend that money that you're gonna, create that new LLC on? Are you sure? I mean, the last 4 times you failed. I'm just being your best friend here. So sometimes the critic in your head is not always like narcissistic. Sometimes it can be kind of enabling. Sometimes it can be overly protective. Sometimes it can feed your own addiction. So you have to be very careful with doubt, because first of all, doubt is one of the 5 Ds that you have to master, overcome, defeat in order to get to 5D, which is God embodied. That's what 5D is, God embodied. All right. And the 5Ds make up something that we call in metaphysics, or the Christ conscious journey. The 5Ds make up the word devil. So this is your devil. This is your demon. This is your stop. This is your block. This is your separation. All right. So what is the opposite? What would be the opposite experience versus doubt? Faith. Faith. Can you have faith in the GPS that's calling you forward? Can you have faith in this higher knowing that everything's going to be okay? Can you have faith in the imagination that you've been spending years developing, and this inner feeling of knowing, right? Not faith in other people, not faith in circumstances, not faith in your husband, not faith in the government. Please do not. Faith in you. Faith in you. That is going to be what defeats doubt. Now, if you haven't been in my classrooms, then you might not be using your imagination up to par, because in order for you to create God embodiment, which means your higher self to fully embody into this physical plane, you've got to be spending time with the God within you. You've got to get to know her and him. You've got to know how they think and how they feel, and their message and their purpose, and all these things. And we call it in our classrooms Imagineering. And we spend 10 to 15 minutes a day with our God selves as disciples, because as disciples, then we are then disciplined on her or his behavior that we can mimic and model and get out of our own way. Basically, like, not do the things that you've always done that have always gotten you stuck or trapped or blamed, or where you have to sacrifice constantly. But in order for you to be like, my higher self doesn't feel like this here. My higher self does not feel like this step, even though this makes logical sense for me to move forward here. This doesn't feel like what I have been getting to know inside, because you have been taught that your intuition is about what is happening and your next logical step. And that could not be taking you further away from your holy land, your kingdom of heaven, that you are here to manifest birth from inside of you. Okay. And it's very confusing. If you haven't started out this journey with great self-trust, and you're constantly phoning a friend and looking at psychics and doing tarot every 5 minutes, you probably don't trust the guts inside of you yet. And I would highly recommend that you put all the circumstantial 3D techniques and toys down and fire up some badass music and ask myself the question, what would I do with my day if all my problems were solved? If I had the body that I imagined, if I had the money, if I had the relationships, if I had the health, if I had the homes, if I had the money, what would I do? How would I spend my day? Because your higher self is in a state of being. She is, he is not doing. They are being. So you're going, I gotta do, I gotta do, I gotta do, I gotta do. And your higher self is like, get into the state of being, and we will rendezvous. We will be together. If you do, you're getting lost in the mental world that is going to entrap you in doubt. So the opposition of doubt is faith. So the next time you doubt yourself, why don't you say, I wouldn't have had this desire if it wasn't coming from my God self. I wouldn't have had that imagination of things working out well if my higher self hadn't downloaded the message to me. So maybe once in my life, instead of doubting, I'm going to go in the direction of faith, because what is more important than speed? Focus, right? I will tell you, this may slow you down a bit in physical reality. This speeds you up in the spiritual reality. And if you guys watched my spiritual free webinar that I gave you, it's all about shifting from the world's mind into the God's mind, or the God mind within you, which is the higher mind, which is the viewpoint of everything already being complete. Everything is already in a state of isness. All there is creation. All there is love and unity and community and support and life. There is immortality of love and life there. And in the world's mind, everything is 2 minutes away from death. In the world's mind, everything is constantly decomposing. In the world's mind, everything is always like one, missed understanding away from a divorce. In the world's mind, it's always, we're one, now we're one shred away from being in masks again. And it's ridiculous. So we want to make sure that we at least have been spending time, energy, focus, going deep within ourselves, connecting with the God mind within us, so that when doubt shows up, you know which voice to listen to, because it sure isn't your mom's voice. It isn't the last person who attacked you on social media's voice. It isn't the psychic who sometimes gets it right. It isn't your tarot, because your tarot is literally just tapping into a wavelength of your chronic thinking. And so you're always going to feel justified when you look at tarot, because it's just a mirror of you. All right. So now let's look at the second one. The second one is divergence. Divergence. And I know every single one of you guys feel this. If you are in love right now, or if you've been married for 30 years, divergence is one of the devils that is always in your relationship. And divergence is separation. What is separating you? Is it ego? Is it the past? Is it old stories? Is it bitterness? Is it betrayal? Is it, you've blown too much money over here before, so, this next thing that you want to do, it feels like a divergence. Okay, so what is the divergence that's happening in your relationships? What's the divergence that feels like it's in the way of your money? What's the divergence in your health? What's the divergence? What is creating the separation? Okay, and you don't have to necessarily go down all of that right now. What I want to do is give you your opposition. So instead of going and doing thousands of hours of childhood work right now, you could say, well, obviously, if there's a diversion in my relationship, it is coming from a core belief that, I am separate from love, or I don't deserve love, or I am unworthy of love, or I'm not seen or heard or valued or chosen. All right. And pretty much like the rest of us, this is a core belief that is shoved down into our brains, into not only the software, but into the hardware of the cellular memory and the muscle memory. So this one is going to show up. I mean, happily ever after, okay, give it 3 weeks and see what happens, right? So divergence is going to be the devil that you find when you are trying to co-create, when you are trying to save money, when you're trying to invest in something, when you are trying to get to know someone, when you're trying to start that new business, when you're trying to go live on Facebook, right? When you're trying to create and move into a unified flow, there is going to be divergence waiting there, like, well, this and that and this and that and this and that. And it's almost like the doubt creeps into the divergence, and you'll see how this all works down. So what is the opposition of divergence? Convergence. And that definition of that is basically to unify. To unify. So the next time you feel divergence in your relationship, or in some sort of co-creation that is unified for you, I want you to pay attention to what I said today and say, oh, there's a divergence, and it is either my past stories that are creating the dead, or my assumption of the future based on my past stories, because the past does not exist and the future does not exist, right? Unless you bring in divergence. And now you're calculating, is the future a good investment based on my crappy past, and maybe I can't trust them. They're already giving me those assumption feelings that this is the same situation, blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's you, maybe it's, hi, me, I'm the toxic one. And I'm going to create my own sabotage and divergence, because divergence is part of the game. You see, it's like, you have to understand that love and unity and convergence and faith, they're all part of the game. So there's going to be opposition in the game as well. And your job is to look at your journey through the spectrum of non-duality and make sure that you get to choose what shows up. Yes, at first, doubt is going to feel reactive. It's going to feel like you're not choosing it, but you have the opportunity to choose it. And you should choose faith, right? What if I chose faith today? What if I just decide to just faith this? What if I just decide to invest in me, right? What if I decide to go all the way? And then when the divergence shows up, because it will, notice how doubt shows up when you start moving. Divergence shows up when you start co-creating, okay? This is why most relationships after somebody's been divorced over the age of 40 doesn't last longer than 3 months, right? And if you get married, you feel like you're in a jail cell if you get married too quick, okay? So what is the third one? Delay. And this is why you're always seeing the mystics, be patient, wait. And you know, I don't believe in waiting because time doesn't exist. Why would a child ever want to wait? No. So this is where, instead of giving you the opposite of like what what's the opposite of delays, basically like moving forward. So what we do is when there is a obvious delay, like I'm sitting in 2 delays right now that are just really not very comfortable. Okay. Like major roadblocks in physical reality. And I have the opportunity that I can sit and then fester, because if I sit in adrenalized thought, I'm going to make myself sick. I'm going to simmer in it. I'm going to fester in it. I'm going to worry about it. Right. So we teach in non-duality in our academy that when you find a delay or you're found to be patient or to wait for anything, you use the 3 Ps. Now, you guys in my classroom know that the 3 Ps equal practice, prepare, play. Practice your new vibration, your new state of being, your new method acting of your higher self. Practice being the disciple of her, living as her, dressing as her, thinking of her, and acting as, saying what she would say. That's your practice. Preparing, make space for what you ask for. Okay. And some of you are like, oh, I don't want to make space in case it doesn't work out. That's doubt. Go ahead. You see how each one is going to take you back up. Each one of these Ds is going to take you back up. So if you find yourself in doubt, the devil wins. So you have to stay there and go practice, prepare, play, practice, prepare, play, practice, prepare, play. And what is play? The 3 Ps, surrender. Like put it down. I practiced it. I prepared for it. And now I'm in surrender because I know it's mine. I know it's done. I know I can have it. All right. The 4th one is discouraged. Okay. Because after the delay, you're going to start to feel discouraged. You're going to start to feel irritated. You're going to start to feel triggered. Okay. This is where the mind goes, well, it's got to be his fault. This is where the dopamine wants to come rushing in through blame. This is where you want to go settle for something. You want to you feel discouraged. So what can I have? What am I allowed to have from where I am instead of going all the way? You're going to find yourself in discouraged. Okay. And what is in discouraged? The opposite in my world, encourage. And yes, encourage yourself. Look at how far we made it. We've already made it to the 3Ds here. We got one more, okay? One more after this one. And so if you can encourage, and then if you look at that word differently, it's literally to be in courageousness of yourself. You're not going to grow the seed through the soil up until the heavens if you're not courageous here. Because you're going to have to look at the deepest, scariest parts of you and they're never going to look like you. They're going to look like money and people and places and disease and your family and your friends. It's going to look like betrayal. It's going to look like suffering. It's going to look like slavery. It's going to look like pain. And it is all literally generated from your core belief systems of your first 7 years. That's it. All of this mess is coming from the civil war and contradiction between the I am and the I must not be God frequencies within you. The lower 3 chakras and the top 3 chakras are literally coming together, and the I am within you has got to get the body to submit to these 5Ds if you want to create that master effect. Now, martial arts teaches this, okay? The Tibetan monks teach this. I'm just giving you guys the 4th grade quantum experience of this. And we have broken down the Bible basically in metaphor and shown you that the devil is just the 5Ds. And if you get through the 5Ds, then you can get to 5D, okay? So encourage. This is where you pep talk your inner child, whether you need a mother right now or a father right now. You're either nurturing yourself, and you know what? You did such a great job. You've made it to this point. You deserve everything you want. You are chosen, right? We're almost there. Encourage, 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 encourage. This would also be great for your affirmations that are encouraging, doing your hypnosis that's encouraging, getting your body moving that's encouraging, you know, feeling good in your body, complimenting yourself. This is not encourage others. This is encourage yourself. Don't go ask for encouragement from someone, right? Unless you're doing some sort of session with me, and then I can be the mirror for you for the week. But ultimately, my job is to get you to practice how I encourage you and how I, you know, help you with your convergence and help you get in faith and all these things. So last but not least, if you can make it through this, and you can see that literally this is Wizard of Oz, that you're going to get to the last one. And this is where 99.9999% of people give up, because the last D is defeat. And you're like, well, what's the opposite of that? Win. But if you've clearly been defeated, if you've literally been, you know, have to file bankruptcy, if you know, have to move out of your house, if the boyfriend is filing paperwork, or the husband, it looks like defeat, doesn't it? Not to the God within you. Because the God within you says, there is no such thing as defeat. There is no such thing as death. There is no such thing as failure. There is only win. So you stay, as soon as the defeat hit, you say, I won. And you stay in the vibration of celebration for just a few short days, and you win the whole game. It sounds easy. It's really not. It's really not. But when you feel completely defeated, you've actually won. Because if you can say there's no such thing as defeat in the opposition of love, if I'm only in my I am, then there is only win. There is only win. And it may look very destructive, but you guys know, if you've been following me for years, I've always taught you that every negative is actually a shortcut. And there's things that you've wanted and needed that really you're so blessed that never happened. You're so blessed that you actually won by not getting that thing you thought you won. So in every defeat, you've actually won. But if you can't see it this way, if you can't experience this way, then you, with your free will and the godliness within you that is creating 24 hours a day, you're manifesting 24 hours a day, you can manifest defeat because of this. Or you can say, oh, here's defeat. That means I won. What did I win? I can't wait to see it. And then you move back into encouragement. I can't wait to see. I'm so proud of myself. I won. Then you move back up to the PPPs and you practice prepared play. I can't wait to see it. I'm making room for it. Then you walk up to convergence and who can I work with over here? And then you walk into faith. And basically all you're doing is walking backwards into yourself. And if it starts all over, you do it all again. So this is the Monday mindset that I wanted to share with you guys today. And I hope that this helps you, because this is all just a game. And it really is just Wizard of Oz. You're going to wake up from this dream and be like, oh, you were there and you were there and you were there and you were all me. Whoa, all right, Toto, let's go. Right. And this is literally what you're doing here. So don't take this so seriously. Okay. There has been times where I've been in the fetal position crying because I have forgotten my own words. And so part of my job is to remember what it is that I have written down for you guys. And And one of the things that I've done that's the greatest change in my character this last 2 years is that I will not teach it unless I have done it, because that's easy. Like I said, as soon as you get some content, oh, I can't wait to teach this. How about, let me integrate this, let me embody this, let me see what my own success story is. And then, you know what, I don't need yours, because if I can get through these and I can grow and I can become a unified being within myself, then I don't really care who or who knows it, because it is the success that is in with me that I am here to create within myself. So this is working for me, you guys. And there are some days where I need to literally look at my own notes, and I need to slow down to speed up, and I need to be my own pep talker, and I need to be my own father. And I say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how far you've gotten. And I need to be my own mother and hug myself. But when you don't constantly reach out into 3D for your solutions, then what you notice is that the solutions that are actually going to get you into your quantum leap, into your new timelines, into the better versions of your relationship, out of the more abundance that you deserve, are not going to come from the quick solutions in 3D that are basically designed to be doubtful, divergence, delayed, discouraged, and ultimately defeat. And because we are conscious creators that very easily go unconscious, we go through the 5Ds, we dust it off, we forget about it, like the last tummy ache, and then we do it all again in the drug of hope. And if you guys did my quantum fitness course, I teach you that hope is a drug. Hope is a drug because hope leads to expectations. Expectations lead to disappointment, and disappointment leads to depression. And that loop, right? I hope this works out. That's not faith. Hope is not faith. Hope is, I really need this to work out, which hope always stems from the vibration of lack. Faith is, it's done. I deserve it. It's mine. It's all going to work out perfectly. I get to be a child who plays because I'm made in the image of God. So I would say if all of this feels really hard for you, it is because you have not spent time with the God within you. You don't know her or him well enough yet. And so you're using something outside of you to act as the model of God for you. And I will tell you, that's going to get you to defeat in every situation you choose, because nothing outside of you is like the God within you. So spending time there. Matter of fact, in our fellowship group on Wednesday, I am taking you guys that are in that group through 4 different guided experiences to merge the God self and the body together, so the body can build rapport with the God within you and start to feel the yummy hormones that God is going to pour into you, your God within you, and give you the sensation of how real it is, so that when you do hit doubt, you can call on that feeling. You need 2 points in order to create in quantum physics. So if one point is doubt, the other point has to be certainty if you're going to be able to walk a straight line. And so if one point is your ego and you hit doubt, what are you creating? So that second point has got to become the higher you at all times, your North Star, your true GPS system of who you are here to be, who is inside of you that is ready to come out. This is what you guys deserve. This is what I deserve. This is what we all deserve. And this is what we're doing here. Every single person is either they're going through the 3Ds of the devil, or they're mastering it and getting to 5D. So hopefully this helped you a little bit today, because it's really, really helped me in some of my darkest times. And if you want to join that, you guys, it's only $23 a month to be in our fellowship group. We've got tons of mentors in there, graduated, certified trainers from me and other areas that have all come together to kind of like be that neutral viewpoint for each other. You don't have to share, but you're allowed to teach in there. You're allowed to take the classes. There's guided meditations in there. We've already been in there for 6 or 7 weeks now. So there's already archived teachings. You can cancel anytime. It's super easy. The name of it, and I'll put it in the description here or the comments, it's the Quantum Metamorphosis Journey Group. And that is our private Facebook group where we're going to be taking it one step at a time together. Accountability is really good for us when we're saying, hey, we got to stay in our God. We got to stay in our God self. You know, don't take the easy solution. Don't take that. If you guys still want to jump into my non-duality masterclass, there's a few months left. It's a discounted price. If you guys want to do that class, please reach out to me directly, because that's something that I would work on with you based on what your prior training is, because it's quite an advanced class. But we also have our quantum fitness programs and things like that. If you guys are interested in getting deeper into this stuff, your physical biohacking of the body. But otherwise, you guys, I got a billion videos on YouTube that I am explaining all of this. This is just a recap and the money mindset for you to be able to navigate your week and get through your stuff faster and easier, because you are here to be a big deal. And that's the best D of all. All right. Okay, guys, I will see you next Monday right here live for our Monday mindset. And I would love to hear from you guys next week on how you took this to heart and how it helped you throughout the week. If it did help you, sharing your story is great in our free community, because it does help inspire others, because guess what? We're all a mirror of each other. So I'm you and you're me, and we're one big happy family. Let's walk each other home and have a great week. Bye, guys.